Yes! Come on, boys. This is what happens when you play proper bowlers. What did I tell you, man, about Sheldon Cottrell? My God. Listen, I wasn't expecting this win at all, but I'll damn sure take it. Yes, second one international in Barbados on the back of what in reality was a chastening defeat in the first World ODI. Setting England 360. Granted, brilliant wicket. England brilliant at chasing, #1 team in the world. But when you hit 360 and you defend, you struggle to defend that lead so easily, you really have to look at yourself twice. And boy, did we look at ourselves. Made a key change, a change that really shouldn't have needed to be made, because from the outset, we should have gone in with 2 fast bowlers, O'Shane Thomas and Sheldon Cottrell. Common sense. Like, batsmen, yes, they're gonna make the runs that you need in a ODI, but when you have a strong bowling attack, that's what sets you apart. That's what wins you the games. The way one international goes now are going these days, generally pitches are very good. Things are favoured for the batsman more than the bowler. So you don't need to pack your batting down to 8 or 9. If you're packing your batting down to 8 or 9, something is intrinsically wrong with your top order batsman. So you shouldn't be there relying on them. And today, we dropped Pooran, who made a debut in the first ODI for Sheldon Cottrell, and he repaid that faith. Now, you heard my first review on the first ODI, and I would have dropped Brathwaite. And I still want Brathwaite dropped. Listen, we played 2 ODIs, and to this point, I still don't know what is his role in this team. He ain't making no runs, and he ain't taking no wickets. Yes, I know. He got the last wicket of the game, but whatever. Like, it's literally the game was up. It's the number 11, Liam Plunkett. Whoop-de-doo. The man offers nothing. But I don't want to spend too much on the negatives. We have to come back to it at the end, but I'm going to focus on the positives today. Starting off with the top order. Chris Gale and Campbell opened the innings, and today was slightly better in terms of the tempo of the innings. Campbell didn't get off to the same start that he did last match in the first ODI, but Gale, his strike rate was much quicker, and it's maybe the case of him just coming back into form. He's been out of cricket for a while, international cricket for a while. And the first match, it took him much longer to get going before he set the place alight. This time he was very much up near 100 strike rate for his half century. So hopefully he's just building up that form, building up the momentum towards the World Cup later this year. There was calls about whether or not he should be opening the batting, maybe coming in at 3 or 4, because he eats up a lot of balls, obviously by not running and playing himself in. Whereas, one, it puts pressure on his partner at the other end, but 2, it doesn't take advantage of the power play field settings for the first 10 overs. We need Elvin Lewis back, I tell you that right now, because that man is electric, and he would be the one at the other end to take full advantage of that power play first 10 overs whilst Gale is playing himself in. But you have to keep Gale at the top, because wherever he bats, he's always going to eat up delivery in terms of dots, because he doesn't take, quick singles and all that. We know he's got certain back issues and hamstring and that kind of stuff, and he's just not that kind of guy. But as an individual, he makes up for that by the end of his innings, because he's over 100 strike rate, hitting 4s and 6s at will once he gets going. So I would keep him at the top of the innings, but it's his partner. For me, the partner in the first 10 has to be going hell for leather, and we should be looking to be going at 7 minimum and over in that first, I say minimum, 7 and over in the first 10 overs is pretty damn good. We weren't able to do that today, but it wasn't an easy pitch. And obviously at first we're thinking, look, we made 360 in the first ODI. England easily made it. Same ground, different pitch, just moved to the side, adjacent to the previous pitch. What score is good? And from early it showed that this pitch had a bit more in for the bowlers. The spinners were getting more turn and more bounce. The ball was sticking in the wicket, meaning it was difficult, especially when the fast bowlers were rolling their fingers over the ball for the slower balls, whether it's the slower ball pitched up or the slower ball bouncers. The ball's just sticking and making it that much more difficult for the batsman. Rashid was brought in much earlier and he actually got the wicket of Chris Gale. But Shimron Hetmyer, the boy wonder, everyone's been talking about him, and for good reason. 104 not out, batted, right to the end of the innings, hit a 4 and off the penultimate ball of the innings to take him to a century, a brilliant century. He hit some magnificent sixes. I think he hit Mark Wood twice over his head, flat back club over his head, down long off and long on for straight flat batted 6. I mean, some of the shots were amazing. I love that guy. I love Shimron Hetmyer. The man is fearless. Any bowler, fast, slow, spin, whatever the weather, my man's going after you. That's what West Indies cricket batsman is all about. Fearlessness, and he showed that in abundance today. But he also showed discipline. It wasn't reckless cricket he was playing. He wasn't dropped. He wasn't getting outside edges, inside edges. He wasn't a lucky century. It was a very well played and well judged century, and a much needed one that took us up to a score which in the end proved just too much for England. 289 we made in the end. I still want to know, what's Carlos Brathwaite's role in this team? We're going to get back to that anyway. England started innings. The man, Sheldon Cottrell, Sergeant Sheldon Cottrell. 2 wickets early on. The wicket of Jason Roy and Joe Root, I believe it was. Was it Johnny Bairstow? Let me double check that. But he picked up 2 early wickets in his spell. And it was important because in the first ODI, England got off to a flyer. Specifically, Jason Roy, he set England on their way. 88, I think they made in the first 10 overs in the first ODI. And Sheldon Cottrell didn't allow them to do that. Actually, he got both openers, Jason Roy and Bairstow. But the difference between this ODI and the second one was the fact that we had much more bowling options. Yes, the pitch was better, but we had more bowling options. Jason Holder could rotate the bowlers that much more, bring a different dimension to what the batters are facing. And it proved, he did it very well, and it proved to be very useful. Bishu, after going for 11 this first over, he bowled much better in for the rest of his spell. He ended up on 10 overs, none for 49. So if you think that his last 9 overs went for only 38 runs. He didn't pick up any wickets. He should have at least had 1. Jason Holder dropped Rashid late on the innings. Nurse also dropped a catch. I just can't remember who it was off. And that's something that we need to work on, because we dropped, I think, 2 crucial catches in the first match and we dropped 2 today. Now, when it comes to the World Cup and in other crucial matches, it's going to cost us. And what disappointed me is that in the Test series, especially the first 2 matches, we were pumped, everything. The fielding was on point, catching it was above and beyond the norm. But since those first 2 Test matches, which we won, everything's just dropped down a bit. We've got too comfortable. And I don't like it. We need to keep professional. We need to keep the energy up right through. Usually the one-day internationals where our fielding excels more than other. I know we haven't got the people like Russell, Pollard, Dwayne Bravo like we've had in the past. But there's no excuse for some of the drops that I've seen today. And we need to, in the next 3 matches, make sure we tighten that up and give us the best chance of winning. That's the reality. The other wickets, Thomas, he got the wicket of Joe Root, crucial wicket. And COTTRELL came back because it was a partnership that was built between Joe Root and Owen Morgan. And then Owen Morgan and Ben Stokes, he came back. Slower delivery, got Morgan caught in the deep. Crucial breakthrough. Holder takes him back out of the attack. Gives some other people some options because he's going to bring him back later when he needs it most. But at the moment where it looked like England, they were going to comfortably see them through to another victory to make it 2-0 and make it very difficult for West Indies to get back in the series at that point. Stokes was going so well. Buttler was going well, overrun the ball. Holder brought himself back. He said in his post-match interview, just to get 1 wicket. He ended up getting 3. That, for me, was the game-changing moment. Brought himself back on, pitched up outside the off-stump. Stoke hits the ground, but hits the ball just before, through to wicketkeeper, and reviews it. And it's a crucial review, I tell you why, because the wicketkeeper and bowler 100% sure that it was caught behind, that he nicked it, as was the umpire. Stokes wasn't sure. He hit the ground. I don't think he was 100% sure. And because at the stage of the game, he was 70 not out, it was a massive wicket. So he reviewed it after consulting with Buttler, and it proved incorrect. England lost their one and only review. This review system has been brought in to take out the howlers of the game. He wasn't sure, but he used it anyway and lost the review ultimately. Next wicket, in Holder's next over, he gets Buttler with a slow delivery caught inside the circle. Next ball, a howler from the umpire. Angling into Tom Curran, but he's also jumping, hits him above the knee roll. And in line with the stumps, granted, massive appeal from Holder. I wasn't sure why I was appealing, because for me it was never going to hit the wicket. But umpire gave it. That was a howler. But because Stokes, you might say, frivolously used it the over before, the 2 overs previous, it didn't give Tom Curran the opportunity to use it when it really mattered, when it was the howler. And for me, right then, if the game wasn't gone from Stokes and Buttler wicket, it was gone right there. Holder nearly got a hat-trick. Rashid just kept it out. The Yorker off the hat-trick ball. Next over, Rashid probably should have gone. Well, he should have gone. Bishu had a chance to drop by Holder himself. But then COTTRELL came back. Got the wicket of Rashid and got another wicket of Moeen Ali, bowled round the legs. 5 wickets, the highest, his best figures in one internationals. I think it's the second best figures for a left armour against England, or just a West Indies left armour in the Caribbean in total. I'm not sure who the other one is. Could be Pedro Collins. I doubt it's Ian Bradshaw. But you never know, could be. I'm not 100% sure who the other one is. And the final wicket was taken by Carlos Brathwaite. Caught deep long off Liam Plunkett's batting by Jason Holder. West Indies win by 26 runs. But what is Carlos Brathwaite's role in this team? I don't know. He needs to change. He needs to go. I like the fact that we had the 2 fast bowlers. 2 spin options is necessary in one internationals. If you got the 2 fast bowlers and you got Jason Holder, that's 3. 2 spinners I don't mind, especially because for me, once Andre Russell is fit, he comes straight back into that team for Carlos Brathwaite. That means you've got 3 quick bowlers: Thomas, COTTRELL, and Russell as the all-rounder, but quick up to 90 you can get to. Holder, fast medium, 80 miles an hour or so, just over. And obviously, of course, he can back the captain. And then you got 2 spinners. That's so many options. That is a team I would love to see. Bishu, you're on thin ice. You are on thin ice. You bowled well today. You brought it back after that first over, but you're just dropping it too short, too inconsistent, and you're giving easy 4 balls and sometimes 6 balls. You need to just pitch when you slow it down, you pitch it up, you cause trouble. But you're dropping it short and you're giving the batsman easy runs, and you're not taking wickets either. Granted, yes, you had a couple of chances dropped off you in the last couple games, but you just not taking enough wickets. You are on thin ice. I'll give you the series to prove yourself. But if you don't prove yourself, you ain't in my World Cup squad. You're not. Narayan has to come back in for me. There's Chase, who obviously made a big impact in the Test series. Much better batsman, of course, but he can also bowl. And there's Jamal Warrican, who's just in the stands. Now, Ashley Nurse is also there. He's a bit more tighter, I guess, as a finger spinner. It's easier to keep that control. But you need to do more as well. You're dropping catches. I'm sure you dropped one in the first one, and you dropped one today. So what are you doing? I mean, yes, it's a series you need to win, but it's also you're putting yourself in a shop window, you could say, for places at the World Cup, a massive World Cup. And right now, there's a few players who they're playing for their places. For me, Elvin Lewis has to come back in. I do like Joe Campbell, but Elvin Lewis has to come back in when he's fit. Andre Russell has to come in for Carlos Brathwaite. And frankly, right now, I want Poran in for Carlos Brathwaite because he ain't offering nothing anyway. Or another fast bowler. Either one. Probably a bowler, to be fair. Bring in a bowler. Bishu and Nurse, you're playing for your places. Fix up. Look sharp. Cottrell, Thomas, keep doing what you're doing. We want all the competition for places when the likes of Joseph Roach and Gabriel come back. So just keep going. I predicted 4-1 to England at the start of the series. But momentum is a big thing. We haven't chased yet in this series, and chasing tends to be our strength. If England's weakness is setting totals, which is also ours, to be fair. So we'll see between now and the 5th one-day international where the coin lands and who bats first and who bowls first. Because that could really have a big impact on the series. But as it is, it's 1-1 going to Grenada and West Indies. We've got a chance. We can actually do this. And to Sergeant Cottrell, well done.